All right, we're going to start with the nation. DSS warns interim government plotters of their consequences. Tinubu, my mandate, best birthday gift from Nigerians. NPC, Nigerians won't answer religious-related questions during census. Banks worried over low cash deposit by customers. Musician Portable faces police probe. Incoming governors unfold agenda for states. FEC okays 24.2 billion naira for free internet in airports and others. All right, which story are we starting with?
Okay, I have banks. Banks are worried. They say that there have been low deposits from customers. And we know that where there are low deposits, it would affect the lending ability of banks. You know, that's how banks perform their businesses. We bring our money, we put it in the banks, and then the banks use it to, you know, give us loans and other things, and that's how they also make their money. And they say it is a direct result of the Emefiele crisis.
Right.
And although they're saying that they are a bit optimistic that as, you know, more cash is flowing and people are getting more comfortable, that they would go back to where it used to be. But they're saying that even people who used to use banks have now begun to keep their money away from the banks because they shocked us. And so we hopefully, I don't know, hopefully Nigerians will go back to using the banks, but that's good for the banks. But I'm hoping that it means that when we create policies and want to implement them, we think about the long-term multiplier effect on the economy generally and even on the business of the bank. Because at first it seemed it's Nigerians' problem to handle it. Now we're seeing how it's affecting the banks themselves.
A story last week where Emefiele was saying, well done to the fintechs and for doing the... And I was like, should you be even saying that? Do you know how many people's money has been hanging? Don't even talk. Just keep quiet.
Be efficient.
And be praising who? What are you praising them for?
Anyway, they reminded us that he apologized for that. So that we remember the apology.
Also praise them as well. You took the story, I was watching from home and I was very upset at the time.
Okay, which other story are we taking in the nation?
Yeah, the President-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his birthday on Wednesday, he gave a speech that he titled "My Birthday Message to Nigerians," and he said that he was grateful for the opportunity that Nigerians have given to him, that this was his a major birthday gift from Nigerians, and he said it's a rare privilege and one that he would not take lightly, nor will he squander it. He also mentioned that he said, I will instead use this day as an opportunity to reiterate my commitment to the great and important task of rebuilding our nation, renewing hope of the Nigerian people. I campaigned hard and made promises. Those promises were not mere words professed glibly or cynically to win support. They represent a bond that binds me to the task of creating a better Nigeria for the benefit of every Nigeria. So this is his message to Nigerians as it clocks 71.
Oh, you have Portable story. Go ahead.
Yeah, the police have said that they may prosecute Portable.
No, may they will prosecute him.
The headline was may prosecute.
Okay, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
So they said he was seen in a viral video hurling insults at the police officers who were carrying out their legal duties, and that is very disturbing, and that the officers were detailed to execute a warrant of arrest on him for allegations of criminal acts. Anyway, they are upset.
Let me just read it exactly, YK.
Please,
the action of the singer in the video was unruly and conduct likely to cause breach of peace and incitement of violence against the officers who were detailed to execute a warrant of arrest. The MPF will take necessary steps to investigate his actions and ensure that he is prosecuted for any criminal activity he may have committed, depending on the severity of the offense. So according to them, they are sent in 4 times.
They invited him.
Invited him for the allegations of somebody had reported him for some kind of illegal activity or some criminal thing that he did. Okay. And he was sent letters, I think 3 times or so.
And he didn't show up. Okay.
So they went to him with the warrant and to arrest him.
And the video went viral.
The video, it was live. He went live. And he was saying, you haven't given me a warrant.
Yes.
He was saying that.
Is that what he said? But the police is saying that they have. And if they didn't,
so when they were doing the video, why didn't they show us the warrant at that point?
That's also important.
well, When you're police, you don't I don't know.
They
No,
show
no, no,
that.
no. Police have to show you a
Oh,
warrant.
no,
You should
we
get a
know that
lawyer.
now. All of us
You
are
should
watching Hollywood movies now. We know that there'll be a warrant. We understand that, but
Get
leave
a
that.
lawyer then.
We'll see. They doesn't get a lawyer. I was going to take the DSS ones, interim plotters, but I think I took that story yesterday. But let's move on quickly to the Punch. Arrest interim government plotters, APC, PDP tells DSS. 25 children, 125 adult Libyan returnees land in Lagos. Burglars jailed 7 years for robbing patients, Jonathan. Whitney Christian school workers trial begins today. Ramadan election riggers, Yahoo boys fasting in vain, says clerics. FG plans sanctions as 633 die in oil operations. How I'll tackle police corruption, PSC chairman. And presidency, rare privilege I won't squander, says Tinubu. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The Libyan returnees. So the National Emergency Management Agency has received 151 returnees at the cargo wing of the Murtala Mohammed Airport. They came back from Libya. There were about 71 adult female. 2 of them have medical condition, 10 female children, about 7 female infants. This was this return was assisted by voluntary repatriation by the International Organization of Migration. And I just want to finally quote what the Director General of NEMA, represented by Adenike Ogunkule, he said that the NEMA chief assures returnees that the federal government will support them, but they are appealing to Nigerians that are seeking greener pastures to be careful when they are trying to move abroad, because things like this might happen where they are going to isn't conducive for them to stay and they have to come back. There were also 4 male children, 5 male infants that were brought back from Libya. Sad, but I'm happy that at least they're back home.
So still on the DSS story, the DSS spokesman, Dr. Peter Afunaya, was saying that the service considered the plot being pursued by these entrenched interests as not only an aberration, but a mischievous way to set aside the Constitution and undermine civil rule. He's referring to the plot to disrupt the incoming swearing-in and put in an interim government. He says that the few of them have had meetings, and the concerned meeting is for them to start some kind of a protest, consistent, endless protest that would across the cities to cause a declaration of a state of emergency. Another of their plot is to obtain frivolous court injunctions to forestall the inauguration of the new executive administration and legislative federal state levels. The DSS, according to them, supports the president's vow to ensure a hitch-free handover and will assiduously work to achieve that. They're also saying that they're also supporting the Presidential Transition Council to ensure full transition. So all those who are plotting to stop the transition or to stop the inauguration should desist from it. And media, civil society, other judicial authorities, and other stakeholders are also warned to be watchful and cautious to avoid being used as instruments to subvert peace and stability in our nation, because many people, especially influencers, celebrities, could be used by some of these agendas to disrupt governance. Because the truth is that any type of government that is not constitutionally constituted should not stand. And the DSS is they are the service of the state, and they do not take that from any citizen.
I wish the DSS, if it is true,
Yes.
Let's call out the names of people.
call out the names. There's no need to be frightening us or
You
saying.
can't call out the name because you don't have the full investigation to be sure. So there is still an ongoing investigation. There are suspicions. They're telling us. So if you start calling names,
they're investigating.
Yes, but they're giving us, like, warning us
Yes,
to be
they can't give us
careful
the
and keep
details.
our eyes open while they are investigating.
To hurry up.
if I call a name that is wrong now, they will now say that you went
Then
to
they might actually let those that are planning it would stop planning it,
Yeah.
because they know that DSS probably is on them.
So there are different ways of doing this. That's fine.
The burglars that have been jailed for robbing patients, Jonathan, the former first lady.
Oh.
Yeah, they gave them 7 years. Yeah.
Oh, how much did they take?
Please.
Did they put how much they took?
I know we took it a while back.
They didn't really say what she took.
Okay, but okay.
What the 2 of them, an attempted murder.
Ooh.
No, they said worth millions, property worth millions. And the other girl, they gave her 6 months for negligence of duty.
I have a story too.
Go ahead,
So
please.
the federal government on Wednesday, that's through the agency, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, they had a meeting with petroleum product transporters and retailers in Abuja, and we're talking about health, safety, you know, of the business and how it happens. And they mentioned that so far, 633 fatalities have been recorded in the downstream sector. That happens when they're transporting petroleum products at filling stations, incidents that happen at filling stations, incidents that happen at the depot. And they're saying that these incidents, that NMDPRA is going to now take HSC technical audits. That means they would come to wherever you're doing your business and make sure the health, safety, environment guidelines are followed to the T. This is no longer business as usual. There are just too many casualties that has happened as a result of the way business is being handled.
Right.
And the oil marketers themselves will be held liable. I think it's a good thing to do, but I feel it's also late. I thought it should not be now it's not business as usual. It shouldn't have been business at all from the beginning. And I hope that this is not just talk, that we see a huge difference in how they carry out their businesses, and just the number of deaths that happen and just accidents that happen is just, it's just too many. You know, you can have one a year even is a lot, but talk about over 633, that's not good.
Okay, moving on to Daily Sun. DSS confirms plots for interim government. No plans to print Biafra currency, says IPOB. NPC rules out religious consideration during census. Senate sets up committee to recover 6 trillion naira unpaid ground rent. Gubapol INEC presents certificates to Kano, Oyo, Benue, and other states. US raises student work visa by 15%. And EFCC FEC approves 95 billion naira for roads in Ekiti, Ondo State. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Ground rent. So the Senate yesterday set up a ad hoc committee. The motion was moved by Senator Yusuf to say that since Nigeria needs money and we're looking for how to get money, about 6 trillion naira is unpaid in terms of ground rent from 36 states. In 1992, the federal government, people have built 2 million houses across the 36 states, beneficiaries of the federal government, and there's no evidence of payment of ground rent on their properties. So this ad hoc committee the motion was supported, and they have now created a committee to seek how they are going to have the 6 trillion retrieved from property owners across the country. And the Senate president has given them the next 4 weeks for us to get a report concerning this. Anyhow we can make money will be a good one.
I have, okay.
Sorry, I was going to take is it the same story about the bandits?
No.
Huh?
No, not the same story.
Okay, the bandits that kidnapped 60 people 2 weeks ago. They've executed 5 of those people. They first demanded 200 million, then they reduced it to 100 million. And they haven't been able to pay. So they raped 3 women and released them to go and tell the people, we have executed 5 of the people. And amongst the people, a retired police officer, Mr. Moses Tanko, another serving police officer whose name they couldn't talk, a Yoruba guy, an Igbo guy, and a Baggy were among those, abducted. I don't know if they were killed. But they have said if they don't pay the 100 million, they will continue
To kill them.
Kill them. So the people in the community are begging, please come to our aid.
All right.
It's a very sad story.
Yes, I have the National Population Commission trying to refute some stories out there. You know, we are talking about census that's going to happen in a few months. So first of all, they're responding to this audio tape that's gone viral. That's asking Muslims in Nigeria that the census is a way of them to canvass information on their religious information and their affiliations. And then they are now in the video is telling Muslims not to be part of this census or resist anything that has to do with questions about their religion. So MPC is saying I have to just read exactly. They said, for the avoidance of doubt, the Commission wishes to state unequivocally that 2023 population and housing census will not canvass questions on religion and religious affiliations of respondents. The decision to exclude religion, along with ethnicity from the census questionnaire, was taken in due consideration of the sensitive nature of these issues within the Nigerian polity and the need to save the census data from needless controversies and attention. So they know us Nigerians, and they're doing all their best to make sure that we have no reason to mistrust them and mistrust the agenda or the purpose of the census. Is really to get our information for our own development. So if you have any worries concerning religion or ethnic issues, they've said, put your mind at ease. That's not what we're interested in.
Can you remember how many billion they've earmarked for that?
800 and something billion. They had actually gotten 42% already, and they're hoping to get that.
Yes, and they're hoping that Nigerians can
across the
donate.
country.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
They need 800 billion, or they have already...
No, they
need.
They've got
they've only got to 42%. They've only got to 42%
of that amount.
So the other percentage, they're hoping that all of us can help us.
Okay, maybe then all those people can help.
Vanguard polls, DSS confirms plots to install interim government. BVN fraud, PAP probes 513 ex-agitators linked to 1,370 accounts. Ascribing ethno-religious motives to obedient movements will fail, says Obi. Bandits execute 5 of 60 abducted villagers in Niger. 82,000 Nigerian women die yearly from pregnancy-related complications, says UNICEF. Tinubu's victory rift in Afenifere as fashion royalty falls Adebanjo. U.S. hikes student, tourist, and visa fees by 15%. APC governors expressed confidence in Tinubu's ability to turn Nigeria around. And Buhari swears in ex-IGP Arashi as chairman, Police Service Commission. Please. Let me start with the United States visa increase, because that one many Nigerians are concerned about jackbuying. So the B1, B2 visa, according to the United States consulate, have increased from $160 to $185. And according to them, this is clearly just for the fees of the visa. They also said that the immigrant visa for the HLOPQR categories have also increased from $190 to $205, while the treaty trader, treaty investor, and treaty applicants have gone from 205 to 313, and this is effective. These increases are published in the Federal Register on March 28th and will be effective May 30th, 2023. So those are the new costs, and says they are actually specifically based on actual cost of providing the NIV services and are determined after conducting a study of the cost of these services. Okay. So all you Jackbarians.
If they refuse you the visa, will they give you your money back?
Of course not. YK, this is
still discussed. It's a major issue.
That has never been refunded. YK.
It hasn't been refunded for any other.
They should refund like 50% or something since it did not go through. Please, I'll take the story of a BVN fraud that was uncovered by the Office of the Presidential Amnesty Program. Apparently, about a few people, some people did not get their funds, only for them to discover when they investigated that 513 names were linked to 1,370 accounts. Each month, they are getting 65,000 naira as stipends, and one person had 30 names attached to his BVN. So we're seeing a bit of a benefit of having BVN, but 30 names had been receiving money. That's 65,000 naira times 30, and it's coming to one person's account. Very, very wrong. Very, very. And there are many other people. No, they couldn't have listed the 513 names, but these are 513 people that are taking the advantage of getting money that belongs to 1,370 people.
We the people.
Money that will have gone around the community.
Government is not
Amnesty program.
For the people. You know? That's what happened in Jonathan's time.
Bad. Yes.
Jonathan had the, is it Ewing? Or was that one that was given up? Yeah. For young people, they were giving money to youngsters. Guess what? They took the money to jackpot. They used the money to do other things. Some use it judiciously, but others are just so they try to do something. But you see, governance is both ways.
If she does say it, I will be shocked.
Anyway, we have to run.
Government, where did they come from?
Nigerian trip. We have to move on. I'm not sure we have time to. Is there any story that really jumps at you?
Story.
What happened to Dizani again?
Anyway.
Leave her alone, a big.
Did you see the amount of money we are talking about?
We have to go. We have to go.
We can't leave her alone. Or them alone.
Go on a break. When we come back, we want our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.